Jazzcast Pros.
Do you have a story to share, but you're not really sure how to get started? Have you always desired to write a book, but you're not sure about the writing process or the publishing process? Well, you are in for a treat, as today's special guest is a writing coach and a publishing engineer, and she is here to answer all of your questions and much more. Welcome to Fearless Fridays with Marianne, the podcast where real talk meets real transformation. I am your host, Dr. Marianne Rivera-Dannert, and with over 10 years as a life coach, author, speaker, and trainer, I will be guiding you on this journey of healing, growth, and empowerment. Each week, we dive into raw, authentic conversations about life's challenges, victories, and everything in between. Together, we'll hear your inner child, build unshakable confidence, and unlock the fearless you that's been waiting to shine. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's take the next step towards the life that you deserve. This is your safe space, your community, and your call to be limitless, because it's time to be free, fearless, and fabulous. We are celebrating Women's International History Month all month long, and I am honored to have one of my favorite humans joining us today. And while she is not a stranger to us, we do have some new folks around here. So can you please tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Thank you so much, Marianne, or Doc. Yes, put some respect on your name. I'm so excited to be here yet again. But if I can introduce myself, I am Ebony Nicole Smith, the writing coach and publishing engineer. And what that means is I guide my clients from the idea, the thought, the concept of a manuscript to a completed book in hand, ready for immediate sales and beyond. I've been in business since 2016. And since then, I've helped over 80 people become published authors, either for the first time or again. And through various workshops and seminars and things of that nature, I have guided over 500 on their journey to becoming published authors. In my own right, I am I don't know how many I got. I think it's probably like 13 to 15 books of my own. Some were independent or individual books that I've written and released, and others were anthologies, which is a collection of stories written by a group of people. I have been doing this for so long, I swear I can do it with my eyes closed. It is truly a passion for me, and I love to labor in this work.
Love that. Can you share a challenge that you have faced as a woman that you turned into an opportunity?
Oh, man. Yeah. So a challenge that I faced as a woman and turned into an opportunity for me. Well, okay. So I have to go back not far. But in 2021, I had a client. She came to me. She wanted to write or put together a journal about grief. And it came about when she lost her husband in 2017 and dealing with the process of losing him, which she, of course, is still dealing with. Well, working with her, earlier, I met her later in 2021, but in the beginning of 2021, actually on the 8th of this month, will be 3 years that my father passed away. And so I was really, really struggling with his passing because we didn't have the father-daughter relationship that I had desired. I always wanted to be daddy's little girl, but because I couldn't be that, I unfortunately searched to be daddy's little girl to older men, which, you know, it was me searching for my father in them, but I didn't realize that's what I was doing. And one of the challenges with that is I failed to really connect with men on a level that was beyond my actual need and desire for my father. And I didn't realize all of this until I began working with my client. When I began to work on her grief journal, that's when everything started to bubble up. And I'm like, what is happening here? What is this? I don't like how this feels. And so it was a challenge to me. It may not be a challenge to others, but a challenge to me to have to actually face how I viewed men, not only at that point, but at points before, as those who could fill a void that I had with my father. And then when he passed away, that void just expanded. And I had to pray and was like, God, you got to fill this void, or I'll go out and try to fill it myself. And we know how dangerous and detrimental that could be. So he stepped in and yet again, helped me through. So that was my challenge.
So going a little deeper for a woman who might be listening, going through the same thing, you said that he helped you through. So what were some of the things that you used or that he led you to use to, heal and work on that?
Yes. Oh, man. You're going to make, child, why are you digging up stuff? First of all, why are you digging up stuff? But that's okay. That's what, stuff needs to be revealed so you can continue the process and help others. But one of the things God did was help me to recognize that my father loved me to the capacity that he could. And it was not wrong, because we all have our levels of what love is, what it looks like, how we express it, how we receive it. And for some of us, there is a low cap. And others, there's a high cap. Especially the high cap would be for those who say they love hard, like I do. We love hard, so I'm going to give you everything that you didn't even know you needed or wanted. But then it's a drawback to that is then I feel depleted. I feel unappreciated. I feel like I've been used, and all these negative emotions that come with having a high capacity for love or a high cap for love. So he taught me to recognize your father loved you to the capacity that he knew. And it's not wrong. It's just what he knew. He loved you enough that had he loved you more, you probably wouldn't need me, says the Lord, and his work that he did probably wouldn't have been as strong if I had that love from my father. Another thing that he did was had me had me really think about the men that I dated and why I dated them, and then realize and take accountability for my wrong. So, and my wrong was I had unexpressed, unrealistic expectations of these men. I knew what I needed, what I wanted in a man, although it has changed since God did some work in me, quite a bit of good work in me. What I needed and I wanted in a man, I did not tell them. And it wasn't realistic. Like I wanted things from men that they could not give me. And I was asking from these things from men without asking for them, meaning if they didn't do it or they did the opposite of what I wanted without me verbalizing that I wanted them to do something, I'll get angry. And I would shut down.
So they weren't mind readers?
No, they weren't mind readers. I'm just like, I just need you to read my mind. Like, why don't you understand? I'm looking at you. You don't know what these eyes mean. You don't know the thoughts behind these eyes. No, absolutely not. And that was one of the things I had to learn. They're not mind readers. And I have to be okay with expressing myself, even if the man rejects my expression. And one of my problems that I was having was feeling like my when I did express that I was being dismissed or like, it wasn't that serious. I didn't mean it like that, or you're too sensitive. So dismissing my emotions also caused me to withdraw and hold things in as well. But I had unexpressed, unrealistic expectations. And God was like, how would they know?
Yeah.
How would they know? I'm like, well, Lord, I don't know how they would know, but I did just know, right? No.
Right.
And it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
So you shared a lot, and thank you for that. What would you say is a defining moment in your life that shaped who you are today?
Oh, man. Just one defining moment that shaped me. Okay. So last year, God asked me to do something, and I'm currently doing it. I'm not going to do a shameless plug right now. But he asked me to do something, and I was like, yes. It was the biggest yes to date. In addition to me saying yes to being his, to following him and receiving him as my Lord and Savior, the biggest yes to date was what he asked me to do. And I think it shaped me because it showed me that how to safely follow him without question, and question in a negative way. Like, God, why you want me to do this? And why? Instead, I'm like, okay, this is what you need from me. How do you want me to execute it? Who do I need to bring on to help me? I got an idea. Do you want me to share it with you, or do you want me to just take what you got to say, Lord? My questions were for more clarity, more understanding, and to ensure that I was following his directions clearly. So I followed him without question in a negative way. It showed me how I can be obedient to God, even when his ask of me is bigger than what I can do on my own. To still follow through and do it, to be obedient in what he has called, and then to submitting to his plan. When he told me everything that he wanted of me, I was like, whew. I was real like, okay, like, ooh, that's a lot, but I'm okay. Mm-hmm. I'm confident because I know it's something that you need me to do. And so that shaped me in my following of him, my obedience and my submission. It helped me to. So I'm a single woman who desires to get married and things like that. And submission is only for married couples. And so my submission to Christ, to what he wants me to do, has helped me, and it continues to help me. And when it becomes time for me to be one man's wife, on how to submit to him, how to be under his leadership, how to be on his agenda, how my plans may have to be altered to fall in line with what he has. And so that was one thing that God has taught me. So is him asking me something, me going forward and doing it, asking questions that move the agenda forward instead of halting it or pushing it back, but moves the agenda forward with understanding and clarity, being obedient to what he says and submitting to his plan.
How do you balance ambition and self-care?
Oh, if I feel like I'm about to become overwhelmed and burned out, I'll just stop.
Now, why? So I love the fact that you got straight to the point and that it's easy for you to do that. Mm-hmm. Number one, has it always been easy for you? And number two, why do you feel like, what is your opinion on why a lot of women struggle with that?
So for me, it wasn't always like this. I had to get to this, and I burned out when we did the Praying Wife in Waiting anthology in 2020. Mm-hmm. I was done. We launched it in September of 2020. I was down. No social media, no business, no speaking, no workshops, no nothing until January of 2021. I could not do it. I was so tired. I was on social media multiple times a day, designing this graphic online, and then I'm in Canva designing this one. I'm in Paper on My Wall designing that one, and I'm posting and I'm emailing and I'm uploading to Trello and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I became so overwhelmed. I said, I can't do this no more. It completely burned me out. And so because it was my first anthology project that I had to lead, I knew the aspect of publishing. I knew that stuff. But leading 17 women down the exact same path, I got 17 different personalities, 17 different writing styles, 17 different needs. And it's like having 17, they're all adults and I love them all dearly. But it was, and you were one of my authors, but it was like having 17 toddlers in a room and you're the only one. It is, and everybody pulling on you. Like this, right. If you ever been, I hope nobody ever be in a room with 17 toddlers, because baby, I don't know if you'll make it. But it's like everybody want to be held. Everybody wants you to hold their hands. They want you to tie their shoe, fix their hair. Somebody hit this one and somebody pushed this one over. They can't share toys over here. So it was a lot. And that's what it was like for me. And it burned me out. When I got through that process, which was just, when I got off social media, I didn't think about social media. I didn't think about business, nothing, because my mental health, I needed to secure this up here in order for me to come back in 2021, ready to take on everything. The reason why I think it's hard for women to do is because we have so many people relying on us. So many of us wear our capes like we are Wonder Woman. Baby, take that cape off. Wonder Woman is somewhere in Marvel Galaxy. Is she a Marvel character?
Yeah.
Marvel character, Galaxy. She's somewhere else out there saving other planets. Let her do this job. She don't need Marvelettes. She didn't ask us to do that. But we keep our capes on and we want to rescue every single body. And instead of telling people no, which is an answer that requires no explanation, unless you're in court and the judge like, I need you to explain that no. Other than that, you're okay. So saying no is so important now.
Yeah.
You have to stand 10 toes down and don't feel sad about it.
Right.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't have the capacity for it. And no is okay. I had to become comfortable with my no and not feeling bad about it. And then tell me, well, I can't. Thank you for the, I can't. I don't got the capacity for it. I don't got the capacity for it. And I'm going to tell you this, as an entrepreneur, and I've talked to another couple of other entrepreneurs, people want to pull on you for free stuff. Correct. They want your talent, they want your skills, they want your expertise for free. Yeah. I say I don't have any volunteer time available. However, I do have an invoice I can send to you. What is your email? Yep. I have that time, but volunteer time I don't have. And it's because if I'm volunteering and I'm not focused on my business and making ends, that I can meet whatever I have to meet, then I'm just going to be doing all this work and not for nothing. Right. And I get it, especially for new entrepreneurs. They feel like they have to do everything for free. Well, you don't.
Correct.
Nobody has to know that you are new at this. And I encourage new entrepreneurs, stop telling people you're new. Stop telling people you're new. Nobody has to know that you're new. When I started my business in 2016, that was when I started, but I had already been doing this since 2010. So I'm not new to this. I'm used to it. I just started a business. So I'm like, I remember I went to a show, an event last year, and I asked the lady how long. She was like, "Oh yeah, I just started. I'm new to this business." I was like, "Well, how long have you?" Because she was an accountant, something not taxes, it was something with accounting. She wanted to do. She was doing, and I was like, "Well, let me just tell you." She was like, "She's been doing it for like 10 years, but she just because it was a hobby, and then she launched it to a business." I said, "Well, you've been in this for over a decade. If I'm looking for an accountant, I don't want to know that you're brand new at this."
Right.
Because you got my money. Mm-hmm. You counting my coins. I don't need a newbie counting my coins. I need somebody who's well versed at this. So although you're new in business aspect, right, but you're not new at the talent and the skill that you have. So stop telling people you're new. Yeah. Just be like, "Oh, how long have you been at this?" I've been at this for over a decade. Mm-hmm. And if once you get past like 15 years, you can say I've been at this for nearly 2 decades. Yeah. Yeah. So
language matters.
A language. Oh my God. It absolutely does matter. Yeah. Absolutely does. But I think I'm going right back to your second point was, I think that some women may feel guilty about taking care of themselves, especially if they are married and have children. They feel guilty about putting themselves first. My thing is this: if you don't put yourself first and you put yourself last, then you will not be satisfied in life.
Correct. And
your satisfaction matters because that gives you the ability to show up for everybody else, but with limits and boundaries. Tell people no. Right. Can you come in? And we were wondering, can you stay and can you give us 4 hours? I'm sorry, I don't have the capacity for that. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't have the capacity, but you just let me know some other time. Right. Yeah. And that's okay. And don't feel bad about it. And if you do feel bad about it, just write down how you feel and walk away from it.
Yeah. And I think also too, ask yourself why you feel bad about it. Mm-hmm, and get to the root of that so you can start working on that. So before I ask you your the next question, I apologize. DC fans.
Is
Wonder
it DC?
Woman belongs to you.
Oh, my bad.
Marvel.
Girl. My bad. I didn't know.
It's okay. So how do you use your voice to empower women?
I use my voice to empower women. How do I use it? I get passionate sometimes, and I could. So yesterday I did a live, and it was about fear and how it can be crippling, and how it can keep you stagnant, and how beautiful it is on this side of fear, where there's freedom, there's liberty, there's the joy of risk taking, that you feel like you are invincible, like there's nothing you can't do. On this side of fear, there is the assurance that you'll be successful even in failure, and that you fell forward. And so one of the things I did prior to it, because I felt it bubbling up, I said, y'all, let me just explain. If my tone is going to change as I get into this, and I'm not angry, I'm just passionate. And I really want you to capture what I'm saying. And if I come across as mean and like I'm angry, I'm not. I'm just passionate about this, and I want you to live the life that I know you deserve, and the life that you deserve. So when I speak to women, it's just to get them to see that the reality that you have in front of you, this is temporary. Right. If you have a goal or dream, that's your permanent right there. It's to get to that. Everything else that's in front of you is designed, truly designed to keep you where you are. And if you fall into that design, then you just look back 10, 15, 20 years from now, wondering where the time went. And then you'll just watch other people live out their dreams. There was a saying that says, if you don't build your own dreams, you'll help someone else build theirs.
Correct.
And I'm like, kind of double-sided on that. I don't want to, I think as an employee, we help build our employers' dreams. But as entrepreneurs, we are building our own. Right. And then we're also building the dreams of our clients, however that looks for them. And so it's two-sided. You can, depending on what side of it you're on, it's a good thing to help others build their dreams. And then it can be like a cap to that. When I talk with women, I want to have them look at where they are now and envision where they can be. The Bible says in Habakkuk, is it Habakkuk? I think it's called Habakkuk. I used to call it Habakkuk, but it's Habakkuk, I think. I keep messing it up. Excuse me. In Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision, make it plain upon tablets, so he who reads it can take it and run. And although it tarries, it will wait. It will not delay. I believe that if we write down what we want to see, it gives us an opportunity to be strategic and intentional about our steps. And when giving this to women, it's like, yes, you have your spouse, significant other, and children, then they can come along too. What freedoms do you want to experience that they can enjoy as well? So you putting your best foot forward does not mean you're leaving them behind. It's just saying, y'all wait right here. I'm going to go take care of this and I'll be right back. Right. I'm not leaving y'all. I'm still in your view, but just know I need to focus in order to get us out of this and whatever Correct. This is. So, yeah.
I love that. So you mentioned earlier that you have written anthologies, you have been the visionary of anthologies, and you also have written solo books. Which one do you prefer, if there's a preference, and why?
Oh, man. I would say I prefer anthologies. And I prefer anthologies because I don't have to worry about the work. All I got to do is write. And whoever the visionary is, she takes care of everything else. So that's why I like anthologies. Yeah. Also, I work very well with deadlines because if I don't have a deadline, it'll get done when it get done. But one of the things that I do remember is years ago, my pastor, Bishop Roger L. Hennings, he said, something to the effect of, poor people have lax deadlines. They get done, it doesn't matter. Wealthy people have do or die deadlines. It has to get done by any means necessary. That deadline must be met. And so it shifted my mind to being a wealthy woman by thinking wealthily, it's not a word, but thinking wealthily so that I can be there instead of operating and thinking poorly by having a deadline. Oh, I get, well, it didn't happen, so what? No, this is coming up. I got to get this done. And so anthologies nurture my deadline, my wealthily mindset, because I know with deadlines it's going to get done. It has to get done because one, I made this investment into this anthology. I don't want to lose my investment by not submitting my work on time. When it comes to solo projects, I have my deadlines, but I recognize that I too, even as a writing coach, I need an accountability partner. I need somebody that because if I want to let me down, I can let me down. Right. I'm the only one that's going to be affected by that. But if I got a doctor, Marianne, like, okay, coach, February 14th, everything needs to be in. I'm like, I don't want to let her down. I don't want to let her down because she's depending on me to have my work in so that she can proceed with the next step in the anthology. So yeah, that's or for me, if I didn't have my own accountability partner as a coach and I'm working on a solo project, I still don't want to let you down because then it'll make me feel bad. And I don't want to feel bad for letting you down. And then if there's any other time you want to collaborate with me, it might well be like, well, Ebony, you couldn't even commit to your own project. How you even commit to my project? I'm gonna have to take a look at this, so I don't want that stigma that bad. I don't want that.
Yeah. I love that. So as we get ready to, wind down, you mentioned earlier, okay, I don't want to give a shameless plug, but go ahead and give a shameless plug. Tell us about this thing that God gave you.
Yes. Oh man. Because I'm trying to reel it in, keep it in a little bit, right? So
just a little bit.
And just a little bit. In January last year, God said to me, I need you to publish 200 ebooks written by my daughters for free. And my immediate response, okay, God, let's go, let's rock, let's roll. But then I paused. I was like, wait a minute, Lord. 200? The number didn't seem overwhelming. That didn't seem overwhelming because it was 200 women in 1 year. So I'm like, okay, this is doable. This is cool. It's ebooks. I can do an ebook in like 3 days. Not even that long, depending on how many issues. 3 days. Then I put on my phone. I said, wait a minute, Lord. I typed in 750 times 200. And when I hit the equal button, I was like, whoa, what? It came out to $150,000. For free. That is how much work he has me doing for him for free. And when I tell people that's the magnitude, that's how much, this is how important this is to me because of what is tied to it. I get none of that. Thank God that he has been opening doors for me since I gave him that huge yes, because I'm putting in this work where in the natural, the 150,000 would be amazing. Right. But what he's doing on the back end is greater than 150,000. So that's what he has me doing. The 201 project. Last year, August, my little sister passed away. So from August to early January, I was down. I kept dwindling down. I felt it. I wasn't active as much on social media. And then towards the end of November, early December, I was completely off. And so last month, I had prayed. I sent a petition to God, and I asked him, I said to him that I recognized I had failed him for the last 5 months. I said, I recognized that I was not focused enough on the project. I wasn't doing enough. I know I could have done more, but I could not because of my grief for my sister. And I asked him, could he redeem that time for me? Can he give me an additional 5 months to do what he asked? Now, originally the project started on June 1st of last year, and it was supposed to end on May 31st of this year. 12 months, 200 women in 1 year. A couple of weekends ago, I was doing a live, and he said to me, and I had to stop the live and I had to get off the live and just praise him and thank him. He said to me during the live, I heard him. He said, daughter, your petition has been granted. The time has been extended. And I was like, frozen. I was like, oh my God. Okay. So now instead of it ending May 31st, it's going to end on October 31st. So, and I told him, he asked me a series of questions and I told him the answers. And one of the things was one of his questions is what would I do differently with this new time? And I said, I'll be more active. So now I do my Facebook lives on certain topics every day. I actually got to do one later on this evening. And then just to be more adamant and sharing more and stuff like that. So I can draw in those women that he needs to have done. I'm very happy, just one last tidbit about that. I'm very happy because today I was working on the first author that I get to publish under the project. I'm really, really happy. Her name is Talia Hall, and we are publishing her ebook to be released on the 7th of next month. And I'm really proud of her because she came in and she's just like, Coach, what do I need to do? You need to write a story. And I was doing free coaching for like 6 months. I was doing free coaching and she took advantage of the free coaching because that was not a part of what God told me to do. But I love to coach. So I was like, I want to do it. She took full advantage of it. When she first sent me her manuscript, she had 5,000 words because the limit is 20,000 words max. She came to me with 5,000. When I got her manuscript, I had a whole bunch of questions for her. And when she returned, it was just over 17,000. That's how many words she put in. And I'm very, very proud of her. Very, very, very proud. So she's my first author that I get to publish under the 201 Project. And I look forward to publishing 199 more.
Awesome. And if you are listening and you want more information, make sure to check out the show notes because Ebony's information will be on there.
Yes.
So this is Women's National History International Month. Mm-hmm. Who would you say is a woman or women that have inspired you and helped you in your personal and professional growth?
Oh, man. So I would say 2 women in particular, and you know one of them. Cheryl Grant. It was Howland before, but Cheryl Grant. Yeah. She was my first business coach in 2016.
Yep.
I remember she was working with my friend, Dante J. Worth, and I kept watching him work with her, and I'm seeing what is blooming and blossoming from him from working with her. And I tapped into him. I said, how is it working with her? He was like, sis, my first client, I got my investment back. I was like, what? He's like, my first client. So after talking with him, I reached out to her and I told her, I was like, I was a little afraid to work with you. She was like, why? I was like, I was intimidated. I had to be honest with her. I was very intimidated. I see you. I see what you're doing. And it intimidated me. Yeah. And I was scared. I was like, I don't know if I'm good enough. This is way, almost 10 years ago. I didn't feel like I was good enough to do it. And man, she straightened me out so much. So I give it to her because I'll never forget when she told me, because we did a mock presentation of how I would onboard a client when I do my consultation. And she said, you gave too much to me. I was like, huh? She was like, you gave way too much. You are collecting information. You're just asking questions. That is the only thing you need to be doing is asking questions. You gave too much. She's like, what I was giving was enough for them to go work with somebody else doing a free consultation. She said, you gave too much. And then she told me, she said, stop worrying about other people's pockets. Their pockets are not your concern. They're just not. And then she also taught me how to be comfortable with my pricing because I was like, well, I don't know. That's not,
Yeah.
No. You're taking all of your expertise, everything that you have learned and had to go through the last few years to get here is what you are paying them for, because you're going to do everything that they need to become a published author without all of the pitfalls that you had to fall into and dig your way out of. They're going to avoid all of that. And so she's like, that's what they're paying for. They're paying for convenience. They're paying for your knowledge. They're paying for your expertise, and it's worth it. So first, Cheryl Holland. Then I would say or Cheryl Grant rather. Then my mentor, Vanessa Miller Floyd. Let me tell you, she was truly a godsend. I prayed and I said, Lord, I need a woman, a guy who's who is where I need to be, not want to be, but where I need to be. And she has poured into me so much throughout these years. It's ridiculous. She had, this was in 2014 when we really started talking more at church and things like that. And I used to call her my unofficial mentor because I had never asked her to be my mentor. Yeah. And then when I finally asked her, she was like, I was just waiting for you to ask. So she was like, you can stop calling me unofficial. So she has, what I love is that when I bring things to her that I need to talk about, she never tells me that my thoughts are wrong or anything like that. She always says, Ebony, can I offer you a different perspective? A different perspective. And I'm like, yeah. So sometimes I don't want to hear nothing she had to say. But it didn't go in one ear and out the other. It actually, I don't know. It's so weird. It's like it go in my ear and then it gets snatched into my heart. And then when I need it, it comes up like springs of water. Yeah. And so I appreciate her different perspectives. And I tell her all the time, like, you have truly shaped me into the woman I am today by giving me different perspectives. Because what happens is somebody tells you, if you come to somebody and like 2 + 2 is 10, and they're like, well, you're just dumb. That's not right. That's not, you shut down. Right. Because now, well, I always believe 2 + 2 is 10, but you're telling me I'm stupid. I need to go back to school, that the city school district failed me, all these different things. Well, this is what I know. This is what I know. But her perspective is, okay, so let's put 2 fingers up, put 2 more fingers up. Now you count those fingers. How many do you have? 4. That's your answer. 2 + 2 is 4, not 10. Oh, nobody ever showed me that way. You know, I know that's really trivial. Like,
I know. No.
But
I know what you mean.
It's how it was. It's her perspective. And I may not need it. I feel like I need it at that time because, you know, you could be in an emotional state and don't want to really hear anything. But no. And she comes with great wisdom. And she's very understanding. Many things I don't think I could have made it through. There's been times God had blessed me financially and he would say, I need you to give her this amount. I remember one time he told me to give her, I think it was like just over $1,000. Went to the bank, got the money. I told her, I was like, I want to take you to dinner. She was like, okay. So we went to dinner and I was like, okay, I just want to let you know I love you. And I have something for you. I gave it to her. She opened it. She was like, Ebony, oh my God. She just held it out. She was like, I can't believe this. And She was like, she had to fight back tears because she was like, we have to get our car fixed. And our car amount is $900 and something.
Wow. Look at God.
Look at him. And so
that's awesome.
He blessed me with it and I was able to bless her. So yeah, I told her, you know, it's an honor and I definitely pray for her and I'm thankful for her. So professionally, Cheryl Holland Grant, and then personal and spiritually is Vanessa Miller Floyd.
I love that. So you are on the Fearless Fridays podcast. How are you living a fearless life?
Oh man, I'm just doing it. I'm living fearless. Listen, I tell people to come to this side. It is beautiful on this side. This is the other side of fear. Yes. I'm telling you, even in my failures, I'm like, I won.
Yeah.
I won. Like when I did my live yesterday, I said, we fell forward, not backwards, not down, fell forward. You fell forward with wisdom, understanding, more experience, and some new expertise you didn't even know you had.
And courage, because you took the risk.
Absolutely. You did it. And so nobody can tell you didn't do it. So what, you didn't succeed. So what? But listen, look at the people who never took the opportunity to even do it. Look, think about the people who have these wonderful ideas and they allow fear to keep them stagnant, to keep them locked and bound. And then when they get maybe too old to actually do it, they're like, well, I should have did it. And what happens to that is that people spew their fear on you. And they cast their doubt on you because they don't have the belief that you do in yourself. Yeah. No, I'm living fearless because I don't want to miss nothing.
I love that.
I'm just going to do it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, oh well. And I really had to zone in on that. When my sister passed away, it kind of kicked me in my gut like, tomorrow is not promised. What are you waiting for? Yeah. She passed away like a week before her 40th birthday. Mm-hmm. We had plans that week. That week after, a week of her 40th birthday, we were supposed to be in LA on a cruise. And then on her birthday, we were supposed to go to Ruth Chris in LA. That was the plan. But unfortunately, she left, and so we couldn't do it. So it's like, you have all these grand plans, but if you don't go forward and execute these things, none of it really matters. It's just a plan. It's just a plan. And I don't want to die filled with plans. Right. When I leave here, I want everything that I had planned to do have been done, whether I succeed or I don't. I know I did it. And like we have our birth date and we have our death date. Both are important. Everybody's going to get one. Correct. Especially that death date. But it's that dash, that middle is what counts the most towards your legacy, towards her story. That dash is what matters. And it's my goal for my life to fill, to pack, to overwhelm that dash to the point that when my obituary is written, they're going to be like, we got like 4 pages because the girl did so much. Like we got 4 pages just on her obituary. That don't include all the other stuff. No, just on her obituary. I want that dash packed. And so I'm like, to live fearlessly is, if I win, I win. If I lose, I win.
Win-win.
If I fail, I won. If I won, I won. Either way, it's up. And I'm failing forward. So yeah, I'm failing forward. I'm like, oh man, that didn't work out. Whew, that hurt a little bit. But let me see why this didn't work. And what can I do differently? And what can I take with me when I move and take another step? What can I take with me and what can I leave behind?
Love that. And where can our listeners connect with you and join you and be one of the 199?
Yes. So everything is on my website, which is my name, ebonynicolesmith.com. So you can connect with me through, so you can find all my social media links on there as well. Information about the 201 project. I also have another project called the Bold Writers Live Memoir Mavens Workshop, in which will be held here in Rochester, New York. It's going to be a 2-day intensive writing workshop where day 1, we are setting up all of your accounts so that you can get published. Day 2, we are working. Dr. Marianne is going to be there as well. She'll be talking about marketing and promoting yourself, because we all know that she's been on the bestsellers list, I don't know how many times. So I'm like, girl, can you teach people how to do this? Because listen, we need it over here, okay? So she's coming in, and I just want to say this tidbit. So y'all remember earlier when I said I'll have no free time, I'll have volunteer time? When I put this together, I'm like, hey, this is what I can offer you to come in and teach these women. And she was like, okay, because I don't want nobody's time for free, baby, because I know what it means to do work for free. And I wouldn't ask that. Even though we are friends, no, here's the payment. Here's what that would be. But everything, EbonyNicoleSmith.com, EbonyNicoleSmith.
Love that. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please leave us a 5-star review and share with a friend or two. If you aren't already following us on social media, please connect with me on LinkedIn at Marianne Rivera Dannert, or visit our website, mariannerivera.com. I will catch you next week with a brand new episode, and remember that you are a priority and you matter.